The man noticed that after enjoying himself, the client had unexpectedly tipped the prostitute an extra $10,000. The man noticed the customer's generous gesture and decided to rob him. Sure enough, after leaving the establishment, the customer got into a brand new Mustang sports car. Once the customer drove off, the man promptly followed in his own vehicle. He tailed him from the city center all the way to the suburbs, watching as the customer pulled the sports car into a courtyard surrounding a luxurious villa. The man watched from a distance. The client must be wealthy, but after a moment's thought, he didn't act immediately. Instead, he drove back to the city center. He went to the local police station, lit an RGD smoke grenade, and secretly placed it under a car. Then he jumped onto the vehicle and shook it violently, making it emit a shrill siren. You think he was courting death? No. When the on-duty officer ran out to investigate, he slipped into the station. Since his brother-in-law worked there, he knew the layout intimately. Using an access card, he swiped open the equipment room door. He wasn't after valuables. He retrieved 2 GPS tracking devices. After completing this, he returned to the client's residence. He installed the trackers on 2 cars parked in the courtyard. The next day, following the coordinates provided by the trackers, he tailed the client to an abandoned building. He even used a drone to observe the client's every move. But unexpectedly, the client began violently assaulting another person. It looked like they were conducting illegal business. The man quickly grabbed his phone to call the police, but then decisively abandoned the idea. If the pimp's money was dirty, even if he took it, the police wouldn't intervene. Following the location data, he arrived at a grocery market. He saw the pimp hand a black bag to his wealthy father, who then took the bag back to the mansion. It must have contained money, and the mansion served as their stash house. That night, he called in an accomplice, his brother-in-law, a former comrade-in-arms and local SWAT officer, to join an operation. But the brother-in-law refused, citing family obligations. After parting ways, the man went alone to the brothel. He noticed 2 cars leaving the compound. After that, it seemed only the client and his wealthy father remained inside the mansion, seeing his chance. So when the client stepped out to use the restroom, he suddenly lunged forward, wrapping his arms around the man's neck from behind. Soon, the client was choked unconscious. Rushing into the mansion, he heard whistling sounds echoing inside. Following the sound, he approached a room door and peered through the crack. There, crouched in the shadows, was the wealthy old man.